Hello, everyone. This is your full moon reading for the full moon November 19th, which is actually in a couple of days here in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's also a lunar eclipse or a partial lunar eclipse. So the full moon is in Taurus, and we're having a partial eclipse too, which is going to be pretty intense. Lydia here has been a long time since I've actually been on again, and I plan on being a little bit more regular. Just lots of things going on in my life. So I'm sure same thing with you. And we're getting going in this wonderful life once again as Christmas approaches and so forth. So I'm just going to get right into it. We're going to be using two decks of cards. The first deck is my good tried and true Moonology deck. And this is really interesting because every time I use this card, whatever message is in this card, no matter where it comes out, if it might even say the first quarter moon or something like that, but it's basically very accurate. So I love Yasmin Boland's Moonology deck. So we're also going to be using Colette Baron Reed because I have her. I just love her. The Shaman's Dream Oracle. Sorry if it's a little bit strange. I'm doing this in a different room right now. So bear with me as I change rooms from one to the other in the next few months or so. But anyways, we're going to be using the Shaman's Dream, and we're going to be doing, the cards are going to be interspersed. So we're going to have Moonology and a little bit of Shaman's Dream, and then Moonology again to end with. So here we go. Let's start this up. The first card that we have is your commitment is being tested. First quarter moon. Ooh, yeah, you know what? It sure is. So our commitment is definitely being tested. And this is a commitment to ourselves and to our truth. So let's go in. We're just going to go straight into the first quarter moon and basically take a look at what it has to say first before I actually make any comments on this. So it says, there could be some challenges coming your way, but they're just the universe's way of testing you. The first quarter moon calls for you to face any hurdles with confidence. What do you actually think is possible? If you believe you can do it, then you probably can. If you spend your life affirming that something is too big for you to surmount, it probably is. See how it works? Do you believe your dreams will come true, or have you secretly already given up? Showing some commitment now will help you move towards your desired outcome. What you believe to be true is true for you, so believe in yourself. Attuned to the moon, I am committed to my dreams and move towards them with confidence. And that is something that you can say on a daily basis. Additional meanings for this card, and I'm going to read them because I think some of them are going to be pertinent to some of you. The answer to your question is yes, but not yet. You're halfway to your goal. You still need to put in a bit more effort. Sometimes we just need to realize how much we want something, or you need to recommit to someone or something. And in fact, there are some things I can see in here that actually apply to me too. So the teaching in the lunar cycle, the first quarter moon comes between the new moon and the full moon. It's a time when the sun and the moon are at hard astrological angle to each other, and this can prompt a small crisis. No matter when you pull this card, you need to see any dramas as a stepping stone to where you want to be. It can also be a time when you need to stay strong through a storm. So yeah, definitely, we're in for something. If you've actually listened to some of the astrologers that are talking out there, and I can say a few of them, I know I tell you about Pam Gregory a lot. I do listen to her. I also listen to Braca Goldsmith. I've been listening to Julie Petrie, and there's been a few pretty much underlying things that are being said as a base understanding that we are in a time of challenge, and we know that we're in a time of challenge, but this also means that this is a beautiful time to recognize what we have within ourselves, the confidence within ourselves that says, you know what, we will get through this. And what is it that we want to see on the other side? If you're at the beginning of the rainbow, what do you want to see on the other side? Do you want to see a pot of gold, or do you want to see that the rain stops there and that's it? I personally want to see the pot of gold. And speaking literally and figuratively, it is lovely to see that we have this beautiful innate confidence within us. And over some time, I'm going to be actually sending out some information regarding inspiration so that it kind of helps you along the way. Little videos that will help you along the way to keep that confidence going. Because within us is the key. We are the keys to giving us the success that we need and the abundance that we need, no matter where we go. That might sound a little woo woo or foo foo, but basically, it is true. We are the ones who create that for ourselves. And a lot of it has to do with the mindset. So when I look at this and I say, your commitment is being tested, it is basically that commitment to yourself. What are you willing to look at in the face of challenge? Sure, there's definitely challenges all over the all over the planet. And I'm not really going to touch too much on that, but I am going to say I'm probably going to go over some information that deals with that. But a lot of it has to do with you. You are the one who makes the change first. So that commitment is being said that in the face of challenge that is out there, have you dealt with some of the fears that you have with yourself, the karmic influences that could be coming around? Two, the experiences, so it goes one to the other, one and two kind of go together. Basically, any fears that you've had that something is going to come up again in your karmic cycle that you have to experience a second time. And will you look at it differently? Will you be able to make a second change or a different change, a change towards what happened the first time? So that's dealing with karma, which is what is happening right now. That's what's put us in this crazy, challenging time period. And then also, do you have the confidence that you will get through this no matter what? And you will make it to the other side of the rainbow. Commit to being a success in whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Now, in the face of doubt or not knowing what's going to come around the corner, how do you adapt to change? How well do you adapt to change? Do you have personal boundaries that you can also set into for yourself and for others that may hold the dramas, because this is talking about dramas that may come at you with drama? Are you able to set that boundary for yourself and say, you know what, I'm not going to watch the 11 o'clock news. I don't really need to do that before I go to sleep and try to actually get a good night's rest. I'm just going to hold it and say, I think I'm going to sit in the bath tonight, and I'm going to have some candles around me, and basically have a nice solid relaxation time, giving myself self-care so that I can sleep better tonight. This is a commitment to you. And that does include self-care as well, because self-care and what you do for yourself is all about building that confidence, or basically reaching down inside and grabbing the confidence that you already were born with. You have that courage. You have that strength. You were born with that. So a lot to be said for that first card, but basically this is a test for all of us. This is a test of our strength, a test of our courage, and the knowledge that within you has this power to get through anything. You can think your way through it, which is basically something that we've known from some of our, if you look at some of the ancestral heritage in our, like, way back, you have to actually look in your past lives, but I'm just going to say that. I would say that within ourselves, we have gone through so much. Our ancestors have gone through wars, they've gone through strife, they have gone through death, they have gone through and mass death, they have gone through many different influenza and terrible sicknesses and illnesses that have ravaged the earth. They've gone through everything. So, and they've built courage. You look at your grandparents or your great grandparents and you think, wow, did they ever do so much? And you always have this respect for them and this loving thought about them. That's going to be you sometime. So think about it. You have the blueprint for that confidence, for that courage, for that will. Will you be committed to it? The second card that we have is emotions are running high, supermoon. Interestingly, we don't have a supermoon, but we do have an eclipse. And oh my gosh, I can't tell you how much that emotions run high during this time period. A full moon in general. And in fact, the time before a full moon, and I'd say they usually say about 2 to 3 days before the full moon and 2 to 3 days after the full moon. That's when the energy is the craziest. But I'm going to say that I have been feeling and becoming more sensitive to the energies that are out there a week prior to a full moon, and a week, or well, probably about 3 to 4 days after the full moon, because the influences of that moon and the shifting of the moon actually influence me a little bit differently too, depending upon what it is, a quarter moon, a half moon, or even to the new moon. So in this case, you may resonate with that too, and that the emotions are really high at this time, and even amplified that much higher with an eclipse. This is what they call, meaning the astrologers, they call the eclipse season. And it means that we go through several eclipses. We basically do all the time. But some of them actually are more influential than others. And at this particular time, because of where the planetary arrangements are at this moment, we are really going through a lot. And I'd have to say we're going to be put through the ringer between now and the end of January. So that being said, there's that partial lunar eclipse that happens on Friday. And then we also have a solar eclipse that happens December 4th of this year. And with the two of them so generally close together, the influences are just incredible. So if you are feeling emotions, this is where you have to put them in check. Find out where the emotions are coming from. Is it coming from you, or is it being bombarded to you from someone else in a mirror effect? Or are you feeling what the earth is feeling, what the energy of the planet is feeling? You kind of have to look into all of that. Is that emotion yours, or is it someone else's, or something else's? Okay, so we're going to look into supermoon and find out what this has to say. It's always fun to find it in here, and doing this by myself. Just do myself a favor and look into the contents, the table of contents. This always seems to happen to me with this particular book. So, okay, so we found it here. All right. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I have been really feeling crazy. And the dreams, oh, I got to tell you, the dreams are through the roof. I don't know if I necessarily remember everything, and I don't know if you would, but yeah. So this card suggests that the answer to whatever you're asking is writ large, like the silvery full moon set against the velvety night sky. If you're wondering how successful something is going to be, such as job or relationship, the answer is very. To use common parlance, the answer to your question may well be that it's under your nose. This card is about being larger than life, being special, and bursting with energy that you can tune into and work with. You can expect plenty of good things and a positive outcome when this card comes up, but you may find there's a lot of emotion to deal with too. There's also a sense that the opportunities around whatever you're asking about don't come along every day, so take action. Attuned to the moon, success is close. I just must trust. Oh, I like that. Additional meanings for this card: a resolution to your question is closer than you may think. Don't ignore the obvious. Something exciting lies ahead. Make sure you don't blow events out of proportion. And speak to the goddess. Ask her for assistance. The teaching: a supermoon is a new or full moon that takes place when the moon is at its closest point to the earth during its monthly orbit, an event known as perigee. If it's a full moon, the moon appears around 14% bigger at this time. The moon is known as the queen of emotions. And if you draw the supermoon card, regardless of when you do this, you can expect your feelings to be more highly charged. So in this is a very favorable outlook for the emotions and in a supermoon. I'm going to say that you can always look at the emotions that you have in the opposite side as well. So seeing where those negative emotions are coming up and why they're coming up. Is it coming up because someone has triggered you, or there have been some emotional triggers that have been kind of around you that you're relating to, or that you're responding to? The other thing too could be that the emotions that are coming to you or coming up from below to be dealt with and then let go. And it's important with emotions, you have to let them go. Um, tell you a little story. Guilt. For some reason, guilt kept coming up over the last couple, probably 3 months or so for me. And it was terribly disconcerting because whenever that comes up, I know that's a very low energy, and I would feel terrible, like blah, like it was disgusting. And I thought, I know I have to get rid of this. This feeling is terrible, and there's no point in actually ruminating over guilt, over a certain circumstance or experience that you have or that you've seen or visualized, because of the fact that it does you no good. It's been done in the past. It's done in your life. So what do I want to move on with? Do I want to move on and actually try to choose happiness in some way? Or do I want to just keep ruminating and bringing my energy down? Well, I chose happiness. So in that case, I mean, little moments of joy and bliss are just wonderful. And they kind of as soon as I chose happiness, it kept layering. So the happiness over the happiness over the happiness. And that just becomes joy after a while. So what do you choose to be, happy or miserable over something? And that could be the loss of something. So during this time period, the full moon is all about letting go and bringing the new in, because at a full moon, we are now shifting to a brand new cycle. And so that kind of combination with an eclipse, where the eclipse is kind of, they bring about that emotion of discerning, trying to figure out that basically, where is this going to go? You can't see what's ahead of you, and that, like, we all can't see what's ahead of us at this point. But can we manifest something that is actually the most positive in our lives? Absolutely, absolutely. We are expert manifestors, and we just have to recognize that. Remember that you are an expert manifester. So what do you want to manifest? Instead of having the dark side of the moon or the dark side of that lunar eclipse, choose the positive side, choose the happy side. And the same thing with a full moon. Full moons are wonderful for letting go of the emotions, but also and letting go with what needs to fall away before something new comes in. But it's also wonderful for redefining what you want to see in your life. For whether, like, it doesn't matter what it's for. It could be a relationship, it could be your career, it could be schooling, it could be just for your finances, it could be anything. So what do you want to see come to fruition? Could be a project that you've been working on too that wants to come to its fruition. So keep these things in mind. The next card we have, we'll go on here, is Winter's Dream, gestation period. Oh, this is lovely. Oh my goodness. So this is the Shaman's Dream, sorry. Shaman's Dream. And it's nice because you see that nautilus shell there? Of course, that's the snail's shell. Little tidbit, I'm setting up my website, and the nautilus shell happens to be one of my brand, so, or basically something in the brand. So in any case, Winter's Dream, gestation period, and a lot of us are or have been in a gestation period or going to be in one. So and that's this, I'll read this a little bit, then talk more about it afterward. So the Winter's Dream is a summons to go within. Your life force longs to turn inward, like the sap of trees returning to the roots. Cast your gaze toward the deep and hidden places in your heart. Come to rest again in the sanctuary and safety of your soul, and be at peace, basking in your crystalline clarity in that quiet place. This is not hibernation. Do not fall asleep. Take your quiet, wakeful nature with you into stillness, and know that you are replenishing your life force. Trust that the deeply buried seeds inside your soul, the ones you planted even before you were born, are stirring softly, ready to awaken with the spring. But do not try to rouse them early. Instead, surrender to the quiet of Winter's Dream. We're actually heading into winter, or into winter right now, where we are in the Northern Hemisphere. Winter's Dream can lull you into a slumber where you can lose consciousness and become caught in a nightmare. Awaken, awaken. Find that easy return to wakefulness that brings you clarity. This is the time to set your priorities in order, yet not act on any of them. Allow the clarity and transparency that comes with winter's dream to permeate your heart and soul. The time for action will come later. Remember that all things are born of dreams, and your task is to wake up within the dream to lucidly guide it to your chosen destination. Oh, I love that. Winter. We are definitely into winter right now, being in November in the Northern Hemisphere. And what happens in winter, and that's why they say in a lot of times, it's a gestation time period. It's a time where we can go within, basically in a meditation, meditate on a daily basis or on a regular basis to see the fruits of our labor in the spring. And so this is more or less saying that we are basically, this is a very iconic winter time and an iconic time period that kind of sets the mood, being in the heart of eclipse season for awakening. We're seeing a lot of that right now. A lot of us are awakening to uh, craziness, the craziness that we've been put into. In fact, almost everything that we have, that we've been put into, we were born into in this world, is fallible in some way. There's something that needs to change. If not, all of it needs to change. And we are changing along with it. It means that as we go through this particular period, a gestation period, which just means we go into our little cocoon and we need to deal with things that are within us in order to come out the butterfly. So we have a lot of changes that are going on the outside, but it usually happens that the biggest changes that we can see happens on the inside. And it says in there, don't fall asleep, because at this point, being asleep, you miss a lot. And it could be life-threatening, especially for a butterfly. If that butterfly falls asleep, it could die. In this case, what we're looking at is awakening. And all of us are awakening in some way. We have many different truths about things that are coming out, and they're not pleasant. Challenges are never pleasant, and changes within our world, change is never pleasant as per se, unless it's basically changing your clothes. But what this is basically looking into is saying that, what is it that you want to see when you come out of that cocoon? And what are you willing to do within in order to find what it is that you want to see? It's looking within yourself, looking within your soul, looking within that part of you, the depths of your being, all the dark stuff, and saying, I'm willing to let that go. And you know what? I'm willing to own it, to say that that was me. And then let it go. The parts of us that we keep within us are the parts that we focus on keeping within us. So paying attention to what qualities you want to have when you emerge from this cocoon, knowing that we're hibernating, and during hibernation, we can restore, just like sleep restores us or basically replenishes us in our energy in the morning. This time period is about hibernating so that we can restore the goodness, the energy, the wonderful energy that we have within us, so that we can take it with us and let it shine as we break out of that chrysalis in the spring. So that's winter's dream, gestation period, sanctuary, conscious awareness. Absolutely beautiful. The next card that we have, interesting, lost in space, needing direction. Yeah, that needed direction, didn't it? So beautiful cards. Oh, just gorgeous cards. So lost in space. Interesting. The card number from before Winter's Dream is 63, and this is Lost in Space is 36. So reversing numbers. Very, very interesting stuff. Lost in space, feeling lost, needing direction and focus, a 24-hour day. Sometimes in life, we lose our way, perhaps falling prey to addictive behaviors, jealousy, comparison, resistance, or fear. This happens especially when we are up leveling and genuinely changing for the better. A part of us hiding in the vast expansiveness of space wants to sabotage our progress. In the transformation process, our inner world no longer feels safe or inhabitable as we find that our thoughts and beliefs have morphed beyond recognition. You may find yourself adrift in this way right now, unable to focus or determine the next step. So true right now. You might be tired and simply need to regroup and rest. Isn't that true, light workers? Isn't that true? When you lack direction, the first thing to do is redirect your perspective of time. Like a newborn baby who needs swaddling to feel safe, you're invited to reduce your life visioning to the next 24 hours. Stay in the present time. Anyone can handle living in 24-hour compartments, which allows everything to feel grounded and manageable. You get lost in space when you imagine being swallowed up in the giant vastness of the future with its dark uncertainty, or reflect on how your past has held you captive in a hall of distorted, never-ending mirrors, reminding you of your mistakes and flaws, failures and losses, ruminating over guilt. Take heart that the simple 24-hour container immediately banishes those two awful eternities away. You will find your energy and focus restored as you recognize that you are never lost at all. Keep it simple. Right now, conserve your energy and take care of you in basic fundamental ways, and the world will be right again. This bears not too much in the way of interpretation. Very much like the Winter's Dream card. We are to become something better. And yes, we are tired. Oh my goodness, are we tired? We don't know what's coming up, so that bears to the feeling lost. We don't know what direction to go in. But we also know that it's a time of restoration and a lot of work within without actually doing a whole lot of action on the outside. And this may really resonate to some of you, especially when a lot of us, or some of us, are actually losing our jobs. We're losing a sense of reality that we've had for the whole time period we've been on this earth until now, due to the situations that are going on in the world. But think of it this way. We are upgrading. All of us are upgrading. And this is what this is really talking about. We're looking at time in a different fashion as well. Look how quickly this entire year went by. Time is speeding up. Like, I'm not kidding. In all realities, time is speeding up because this particular reality is different than the one that we have ending in 2019. Now we're looking at a different future. And albeit we still have control over our future, and we have control about what we want to see when we come out of this chrysalis. So we've never lost that control. It's a perceived or misconceived notion that we've lost control and that others are controlling us, etc. This is where you can take that back from a thought and basically allowing yourself to not have somebody else take your control away from you, take your life away from you. In this case, this is saying, as we change for the better, we're looking at the way that we are living and knowing that we are about to upgrade ourselves into something better. So does that change sound really bad at this time? I mean, yeah, it's not exactly fun, but as we move forward, if you notice, it can make you a better person. Number one, if you are fighting for particular freedom or life or livelihood, does that not make you a stronger person in that regard? You have to look at why you're going through things. The why is very important. And if something happens, why did it happen? Were you supposed to learn something from that? Absolutely. And then what did you learn? Was it something that involved someone else? Was there an explosion of emotions that happened? Look at the timing of what happened. If it happened during a time period where there's eclipses and a full moon, well, now you know. But at the same time, why did it happen for you? Because everything's so intricately connected, that including the synchronicities of something that could happen first thing in the morning. You could wake up not really seeing anything, stub your toe, say a few choice words, and be in pain for a little bit. But then that little small inconvenience may cause you to have a little lapse in time, that in the synchronicities of things throughout that particular morning, you miss an accident because you got into your car a little bit later as you were tending to your toe. Like I said, everything is intricately connected, and we just have to trust in the process. So the last card that we have to go through is another Moonology card, and it is Confidence is your key to success, the new moon in Leo. I think this is very interesting. We have the full moon in Taurus, and Taurus is a pretty fiery sign as well, but also very cool and collected. And I think my husband's a Leo, and I can see how he's a family guy. He's very dedicated, and very, well, I don't want to say bull-minded. I want to say that he's very passionate about moving forward on something if he really, really believes it. And he just loves to get a project done. Confidence. He's got the confidence that he's going to get that project done. And he goes and does whatever is necessary in order to complete it. And I think that that's where it kind of reflects on the entire reading right now. Confidence is your key to success. Have confidence. Right at the very beginning, it also talked about your commitment to yourself. And then we did talk about how confidence is a huge part of that. Knowing that it's a huge part of being successful, realizing that you have what it takes in order to do that. And you do. This is why that circumstance is coming to you, is because you do have this, and you do have the capability of finishing this project, of going beyond, of finding that certain someone or something that allows you to have success in that area. And yes, that's very general, but it's so true. No matter where it is that you're looking for a completion, and a successful completion, it is meant for you to do that. So we're going to look into the new moon in Leo and basically see, and I know this has come up actually before, but basically see how it kind of ties the entire reading together. This card heralds the start of a new cycle for you. So very much end of a full moon, completion. When you're going to look and feel more gorgeous, more in the spotlight, more like you have something worth showing off. If you want someone's attention, this card says it's coming. However, this may not happen all by itself. You have to be willing to do your bit. That means being proud of who you are and what you have to offer. Think of yourself as the king or queen of the jungle and carry yourself accordingly. This card is also a great omen if you're asking about a creative project you're working on. Alternatively, it can herald good news or a new start for your children. Attune to the moon, make time to have fun. Additional meanings for this card could include it's time for you to show the world what you've got. Shine your light. Have some pride. Spoil yourself. You've earned it. You've turned someone's head. The teaching, Leo is the sign of the big and brave-hearted lion, of pride and showmanship, and flirting. The energy around the new moon in Leo, and therefore around this card whenever you pick it, is hot and generous. The energy loves itself, and so should you. If you've been too much of a wallflower, this new moon card and the Leo new moon comes as a reminder that you need to be proud of who you are. And it's true. Having that confidence of being proud of who you are as a person, as a human, really makes a big difference, especially if you are looking at where you are today. And if it does mean that this time period is very, very, very challenging for you, as it is for many, many people, then this should come as a reassurance that you have what it takes to make it. It is going to be challenging, and know that we are in this together. So it is challenging, but know that you have the capability within you to change the reality, and knowing that you have that confidence. You were born with that confidence. You just need to tap into it, of moving through and making every part of your life a success. Choose to see your life as a success, and it will become so. Simple. It's a simple thought. It's just very difficult to actually execute in our lives, isn't it? So with that, I really do hope that you enjoy this reading, and whatever comes up in your life, just know that you are not alone, and that we all have this innate ability to go within. This is the beauty of humans, that we can get rid of some of the gunk that we have on the inside of us, just from a thought and breathing and thinking through our hearts. Be that compassionate person for yourself. That's what this is asking you to be, especially during this time of a full moon where things are in completion, and where it's a partial eclipse, which also amplifies the emotions at this particular time too. Watch those emotions, keep them in check. And just know that we're all here for you. You have many people that are surrounding you that are there for you, and that your family of light will show themselves to you so that you can be supported and feel supported. With that, I hope that this new moon, or this full moon, and this partial eclipse actually does some great things for you. And I hope you like this reading. And if you do, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Just love that. Know that I'll also be doing a little bit more inspirational videos and such that'll be coming out shortly. So I hope to see you in those. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Enjoy your full moon and partial lunar eclipse, and if you can go out and see it, then go for it and take a look. Thanks again. Bye for now.